How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be beginning a new scenario on this channel, which is going to be covering what if Z Broly and Super Broly were brothers. Now right off the bat, I bet a bunch of you are wondering how is this going to be possible, as both Brolys are the same person, right? Well, not exactly. Before we get into the what if though, if you guys want to have some cool conversation with me, or want to see a bunch of random pictures and videos of me, make sure to follow me on Instagram, over at Damon is Here, I guess. Or if you want to chat with others who like Dragon Ball and this channel, then make sure to join the Discord server, which is linked down below. With all that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. We begin with Paragus and his wife having two boys, twins in fact, Super Broly and Z Broly. Now obviously these two wouldn't both be called Broly, and one of them would get another name, but to make it simpler, I'm going to be referring to them as Super Broly and Z Broly. I was thinking of a year to set these two boys' birth in. Either have it be Super Broly's birth, 5 years before Planet Vegeta blows up, or Z Broly's birth, on like the day the planet explodes. I decided to go with neither one of these, and have it be Kakarot's canon birth date, which is going to be 3 years before the planet's destruction. You'll see why soon. Both of these boys have battle powers through the roof, especially Z Broly, who even though he has just been born, has an incredible battle power of 10,000, just like in the Z movie. Super Broly is notably weaker than his brother, as we never got an official level when he was a baby, but as a kid he was at a power level of 920, which is still very powerful, but nowhere near the immense level of power that Z Broly was, after literally just being born. In this story, Z Broly is the one put in the elite class Saiyan nursery, and King Vegeta completely loses it after detecting that this literal newborn has a power level that is only a small ways behind his. King Vegeta attempts to do what he did to Super Broly and exile him, but this isn't Super Broly we're dealing with. Z Broly fights off the Saiyan forces that try to send him to Vampa, and once Vegeta realizes that exiling this baby won't work, he then attempts to execute the child. This doesn't work either, as once damage is dealt to Z Broly, his power increases and he fights off his executioners. Paragus discovers what horrors the king is putting his son through and attempts to rescue him. Paragus pleads with Vegeta to let his son live, as his power is a good thing, and he may be the key to Saiyan's need to finally defeat Frieza once and for all. King Vegeta isn't satisfied, and just decides to lock away Paragus and Z Broly in the dungeon together, just like in the movie. Paragus' wife hears this news about her husband and son being locked up, and decides to help out in any way she can to save them. Super Broly isn't as strong as his brother, but he is still very powerful for a Saiyan child. He just needs the right training. Super Broly begins his training with his mother, and she is just as brutal to him as Paragus was in canon. His mother begins to notice the strength and potential that her other son has, and if not controlled, he may become even stronger than his brother. She constructs the electric shock collar for Super Broly, that way he can be controlled and his power not overflowing and killing them all. While Super Broly is training, Z Broly and Paragus are kept restrained in the dungeon. Now King Vegeta decided it would be funny to put the dungeon right underneath the low-class nursery, that way the prisoners could hear the babies cry all night long. And for the longest time, there was one baby that would cry non-stop, Kakarot. Z Broly hears this boy's cries every moment of every day, making him cry in the process, and developing his hatred for Kakarot. And again, I know that's very stupid, but also happened in the Z movie, so blame them, not me. After a few years of torture, Super Broly finally invades the castle, attempting to free his father and brother. He tears through hordes of troops and finally makes his way to the dungeons, freeing Paragus and Z Broly. The three are about to escape the castle together, and go off to live in hiding, until they see a gigantic ball heading directly towards the planet. This is the day that Frieza has decided to eradicate all of the Saiyans. The ball is reaching the planet, and this seems like the end. Except Z Broly screams out and covers the three of them in a barrier, protecting them from the explosion. Planet Vegeta is no more, and all that remains is space dust. And Paragus and his boys. Frieza and his forces fly off, leaving the three Saiyans stranded in space. Super Broly is distraught as his mother is killed alongside the planet, the person who really cared for him. Super Broly's rage begins to grow, and his power rises, almost destroying the barrier that Z Broly put up. Paragus notices his son's power rising greatly, and sees a remote control in his pocket that would be able to control his power. Paragus grabs the remote and shocks Super Broly, rendering him unconscious. The three eventually drift off to a planet, and begin to plot their revenge. Paragus wants revenge against King Vegeta for everything, and has been monitoring his son, Prince Vegeta, deeming him the next best thing, and trains his two sons to be able to kill Vegeta. Super Broly mainly complies to training with his father, but Z Broly isn't having any of it. He doesn't care about revenge, all he wants is bloodshed. Every planet that they go to is destroyed by Z Broly, and Paragus is powerless to stop him. Luckily, Super Broly has managed to fight off his brother, and subdue him, that way he doesn't destroy the entire galaxy. Paragus creates his power suppression headband way earlier and attaches it to Z Broly, since he knows one day that Super Broly isn't going to be enough, especially since Z Broly can already become a Super Saiyan at will, while Super Broly can't. Years of torture and destruction go by, with Super Broly being forced to watch as his brother destroys countless planets, and he is only used as a tool to stop his brother before he can get too out of control. He makes friends with the slaves Z Broly has taken, and tries to make life much easier for them, as he is still very kind-hearted and doesn't want pain upon anybody. Z Broly despises the compassion that Super Broly has, and one day while Super is visiting the slaves, Z shows up and completely obliterates all of them. Super is completely distraught. His brother is a genocidal maniac, and while he stood idly by before, this is too much. He's getting too out of control. Super explodes in power, and while he doesn't become a Super Saiyan, he becomes something much different. A Wrathful Saiyan. Ikari Broly attacks his brother, and Z is finally happy to have a good challenge. Z transforms into a Super Saiyan, and the two Brolys fight it out, with Super Broly trying his best to kill his brother. The galaxy is being completely wasted during the colossal battle. Super Broly's power keeps increasing as the fight goes on, and Z's power needs something to match. He begins to scream out, and his muscles bulk up, and The two Brolys scream out in pain at the electric shocks, and they collapse to the ground unconscious. Paragus hovers over them, cursing his sons for causing so much damage, as now they've drawn much attention to themselves. They still need to continue with the plan, however, of ending Vegeta. Paragus brings his sons to new Vegeta and explains the plan, and if they screw it up, then they're going to get the shock of their lives and won't even be able to stand anymore. The three arrive on Earth during the 10-day gap between the Cell games and recruit Vegeta to come to new Vegeta and defeat the legendary Super Saiyan. Vegeta would of course come along as normal, and so would everybody else to try and find the legendary Super Saiyan. On the planet, Z Broly would give everybody the cold shoulder and go off with Vegeta, while Super Broly would make friends, especially with Gohan, Krillin, and Trunks. The three ask Broly about Paragus and his twin brother, with Broly explaining his backstory and how evil his brother really is. The three are pretty shocked to hear about this, as Broly seems to have had a terrible life, and he's just saying it like it's nothing. Trunks goes up to Paragus and encounters him about the torture he's put his sons through, and the death and destruction. Paragus tries his best to defend himself, and Trunks isn't buying it and attempts to execute Paragus. Broly steps in his way and asks what he's doing. Trunks yells at Broly to move out of the way. Why is he defending this monster? Broly explains himself, saying that while he may not have had the best life, this man is still his father, and he won't let him die. Before Trunks and Broly can fight, Goku instant transmissions in, looking for the one who destroyed South Galaxy. Trunks explains to Goku everything that Paragus has done to Broly, and how he has been forcing them to destroy countless planets over the years. Paragus is sick of this, and forces Broly to engage. Broly reluctantly rushes in to battle Goku and Trunks. His power is great, and he's a good match for the two Saiyans, but he isn't giving it his all, since Trunks is his friend. While they're fighting, Z, Broly, and Vegeta show back up, since he could sense the battle going on. Z Broly sets his eyes on Goku, and his blood boils. He remembers being tortured in that dungeon by Goku's cries, and he transforms as well to fight off Goku. Z Broly's power rises, and Paragus can sense he's going to get out of control, so he comes in to try and subdue him. Z's power cannot be held back, as his hatred for Goku is too strong. He smacks his father aside, killing him instantly, and powers up even more, finally becoming the legendary Super Saiyan. Everybody is in shock by this power, and the legendary Broly goes on his rampage. Goku, Gohan, and Trunks try their best as normal, and can't do anything against him. Trunks asks Super Broly what he's doing, and he explains he can't interfere. The last time he and his brother fought, they destroyed a galaxy, and he doesn't want to hurt anybody anymore. Trunks says that if he doesn't fight, then a whole lot more people are going to die. If he really cares about life like he says he does, then he better come in and fight soon, or this galaxy is done for as well. Super thinks on Trunks' words, watching as his new friends are being beaten to a pulp by his brother. Like it always is. His brother has ruined his life. He wasted his entire childhood being trained for him, fighting for him, killing others for him, and now it's finally gotten to be too much. His father isn't going to stop him this time. Super unleashes all of his power and transforms into his Wrathful form and clocks his brother across the face. The two Brolys engage, with Z taunting his brother for how the disappointment is finally deciding to do something and fight. This taunting just makes Super madder, and he unleashes more power on his brother. While the two fight, Piccolo arrives and gives everybody a Senzu beam, bringing them back to full health. The Z Fighters watch as the Brolys fight it out, destroying most of the planet with each clash of fists. Goku can see that if they don't stop this now, then the planet is going to be destroyed. They need the help. The Z Fighters come in to help, and while Z Broly is outnumbered, he is still significantly stronger than most of them there, and easily takes out all of them besides Goku and his brother. Goku and Super are on their last legs. There seems to be no way to stop the legendary Super Saiyan. Super tells Goku that the comet is approaching, and they need to get out of here. He can hold off his brother until the comet comes, and hopefully the comet will be enough to end him. Goku tells him that that isn't an option, he can't leave behind a friend. Goku begins to gather energy from his friends and says they're going to take out Z for good. Goku charges a Kamehameha, while Super Broly charges an eraser cannon, ready to finish off his brother. Super apologizes, saying it didn't have to come to this, but he can't let his brother kill any more innocents. Goku and Super fire their blasts at Z, and he tries his best to hold it back. But the combined blast is too much for the legendary Saiyan, and he is overtaken and blown away. The battle is won, and Goku quickly grabs everyone and instant transmissions back to Earth to avoid the comet hitting. The Z Fighters celebrate while Broly mourns the loss of his brother and his father, who he lost in one day. Gohan comforts Broly, telling him he doesn't have to undergo torture anymore, and he can start over a new life here. Broly smiles and thanks Gohan, saying he'll try his best. And with that, we're going to be ending this part here. Hope you guys enjoyed this scenario of the two Brolys being twins, as I thought it was an interesting concept. If you guys can get this part to maybe 1,000 likes, I'll think about continuing this scenario. So make sure to like the video if you want a part 2. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and until we meet again, see you later!